Welcome to the college life. Yes, we are talking about college today. For those of you who did not see my college video before, I uploaded a video basically where I showed you that I was in my graduation from high school at the beginning, and then my graduation from community college at the close to the end, I guess. So, welcome back to Inside Life with BK. Today we're talking about things involving my college life. See, I was gonna do a second program at FMCC after and finish the program right after graduating from University of Southern Maine. My major at University of Southern Maine is media studies, by the way, and it's in the media production and design option. Okay, media production and design, so it's stuff like narrative filmmaking, special effects and animation. Screenwriting is going to be included with my degree program, as well as an art class and maybe advanced narrative filmmaking too. That would be nice. Man. Anyway, so basically, I was going to do a second associate's degree program, but the advisor was being very, very difficult with me. She basically sent me an email telling me, these are the courses you have to take. By the way, you have to take each one of them in the fall. And I'm like, look, I checked the time for some of them and the days for some of them, and they conflicted with my USM schedule. So I'm like, look, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm like, if it's gonna take like me getting badgered like this, then I don't want to go with the program. So I spent not a lot of time looking for another program I could do, because I do want a second associate's degree. I want an associate in applied science in the field of media, and I want certain other skills that one degree in media studies isn't going to get me, because the media studies degree is very basic. It's very like, it's very, it doesn't really go in depth, honestly. It's a Bachelor of Arts, so it's not really meant to go in depth. It's meant to be a broad overview, sort of. It's not a Master of Fine Arts, for example, or a Bachelor of Fine Arts. I mean, it's really not supposed to go in depth, so it's supposed to give you a broad overview, and then you're supposed to learn the things with time, I guess you can say. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Why is my drink all the way over there? Hold on 1 second. But yeah, I just ordered a new camcorder, so I'm gonna be making more home movies and stuff like that. And I do have one camcorder that I can use in addition as like a second camera. Oh, look at that! It's turning on. It's turning on. Waiting. Oh yes. Oh yes. I know you're finally on. Anyway, so it is strange how different things are, and we live in a world where some degree programs can be done entirely online. And there's one thing I always wanted to learn, right? And you saw a little bit of that today. If any of you saw my last two videos, they were basically animations. basically animation. It's basically a picture, two halves becoming a whole, and one being like one composition and another composition, and you put it together and it forms an IB2. And what IB2 means for me is interstellar, beyond, tomorrow. And it's, I kind of based that one on Chris Nolan because he did a movie called Interstellar. He did Batman, okay? And Batman has a story called Batman Beyond, so I mean, it just sort of fit. And tomorrow, who knows what he'll make tomorrow? I mean, who knows? But anyway, so I was looking at programs, and I remembered a while ago. I looked up community college, actually about 30 minutes away. It's in Wells, Maine. I can't, obviously I wouldn't be able to drive there, or wouldn't be able to actually go to Wells, because it's close to Biddeford, and I don't know the bus routes there. I've never been on a bus to go into Biddeford, honestly speaking, but I do know that they have a program called Digital Media, and they have an animation option, and they have a graphic design option. And I was looking at the animation option. I'm like, this is one of the things I always wanted to learn. I always wanted to learn animation, and I did a little bit of that today. With it was kind of weird because I was working on it for a few hours. I was like, fuck, how do I get this shit to fucking animate? And then I figured it out. And with no help from anyone, I just learned how to figure it out, and it was freaking amazing. I was like, oh my god, it's animating. And then you would, you put it through Media Encoder, and you would download it as an H.264, and it would download, and it would show you the video, and it'd be like, oh my god, that's the entire animation. It's working. And it's like this great feeling, this great feeling. But I've always wanted to learn animation, I've always wanted to learn about that. I want to learn things that are really interesting, and I think doing that degree program would be beneficial. So today I applied for the Digital Media Animation program at YCCC, and that was pretty interesting because I'm going to start in the spring. Now, obviously, it's going to take me a little more than 2 years already because I'm only going part-time. Or maybe even not even part-time. Maybe just one class a semester. Because I can afford it. One class per semester, I can afford that. But I'm going to be doing it, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to computer animation, especially because that's going to be interesting. I already know what I want to make. Okay, I want to make a story, like an animation story. It's a samurai, a lone samurai. He goes into battle with a couple of guys, and on the ground is this girl, and the girl is his lover. Okay, and he's just like, she just has her eyes open for a minute, and he closes them, and then he just, eventually, he just disappears. And it's a very somber story. It's the lone samurai story. And I would love to make something like that. I don't know. Someone's probably going to try making it right now, and it's going to be weird. Anyway, so I'm pretty excited, and obviously I'm gonna finish my bachelor's degree, obviously, at USM, and gonna do the YCCC thing, and I'm hoping to transfer to a Master of Fine Arts program. I just haven't decided which one yet, honestly speaking. Because there's so many Master of Fine Arts programs, right? And there's so many of them, and it's like you have to go through quite a few of those Master of Fine Arts programs. And the thing about it is that I want to do one in film. And I want film to include animation. And so far as a program that has animation and film a little bit, the only Master of Fine Arts program I can find is one at SF State, San Francisco State University. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, what's your acceptance rate? Because obviously I'll never get into UCLA. I'll never get into USC. It would be unbelievable if I applied to USC and got accepted, but that's not likely. I mean, my grades aren't bad, but they're not all A's and B's. Like those colleges want them to be, There's some C's in there, There's a few C's, a few more C's than some people would like. So, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting, but part of it might be too. You have to create a portfolio and be like, hey, this is my portfolio of things that I've worked on. Here you go, and they might look at it. They maybe that's part of the application process, but I honestly freaking doubt it. I'm pretty sure they're just going to be like, well, despite the fact that you've worked on some things like this, your grades aren't the best, or up to our standards. Up to our standards, and I'd be like, well, I've passed college twice now. That's why I got to get my grades up. That's why I got to retake some courses that I got D's in. It sucks, but it's the thing I gotta do. But I'm thinking of San Francisco State University, mostly because it's a little bit easier to get into. I think the percentage for the acceptance rate is 84% or something like that. Yeah, so 84%. So that means you could get in easily. Alright, so that's what I'm thinking of. I think I might do that. It wouldn't be too bad. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. SF State after USM, and still doing YCCC, the associate's degree. Obviously, I gotta send transcripts over from SMCC, obviously, but I'm not doing the YCCC degree until springtime. Springtime. And obviously, with that program, I won't be doing it until fully until I graduate from USM. So, yeah. And obviously, we have to think about certain things, obviously, I'll have to send transcripts over. And obviously, my credits will have to transfer from SMCC to YCCC. And I did ask the admissions whether the program was completely online, because that's one thing I wanted. A completely online program. I wanted to do animation.
This video.
I wanted to learn by reading the text. But mostly I wanted to learn by doing the actual thing.
This video.
they were like, oh, yeah, the program's completely online. It's like great, you know, it's online. It's great.
Alright guys, focus on.
And I'm still interested in filmmaking, guys. Not just animation. I want to do a little bit of both. You know, maybe some visual effects stuff. That's some things I'm interested in, you know, learning about that. Visual effects, animation, filmmaking. Because I'm interested in all three of those things. Because they're interesting. And there's nothing more interesting than something that's interesting. You know, so I would love to, actually I'm going to be working on some other films when I get some time. Maybe Friday I'll work on some extra films. Like extra film, like stuff that I want to do. I want to do some extra film stuff, you know, some extra short films and stuff for my other channel. If you guys don't know, I opened up a third channel. It's called Brandon Kennedy's Short Films. And it does have the exclamation point, so at the end of short films. So you just go to that channel, you can see some of my short films. Just search Brandon Kennedy, you'll find it. And it'll be like a short film by Brandon Kennedy. I made one called I forgot what it's called.
WB Discovery is going.
I don't care about WB Discovery. Honestly.
Sophia.
What was the program? What was it called? No, what was it called? The video. Okay, YouTube.com. Alright. Sorry, I don't remember every short film that I name. Bad News from the Future. A short film by Brandon Kennedy. And 7 people have viewed it. And that's pretty cool, you know. I made that one using my phone and a new program I downloaded called OpenShot Video Editor. I'm hoping that for the future I'll be using my camcorder and my new camcorder that's supposed to be coming in any day now for that sort of thing. How much did you spend on your camcorder? Well, actually I spent like $60 on this camcorder that I currently have. You know, and it's pretty cool. It does, okay. It's, you know, it's a small camcorder, obviously. This camcorder is so small nowadays. But I ordered a brand new, actually I should probably go check on the status of that. Google Chrome, open that up. Check on the status of that. It's one of those ones you purchase online through a basically a credit service or whatever. Yeah, okay. And oh yeah, so I know that. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at the status. Of that order. Shipped. Interesting. What's the status of it? Shipped, obviously, but on its way. Oh, it's in Scarborough right now. It will be here probably tomorrow. Yeah, so new camera. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, It's in Scarborough, Maine right now, so it should be here tomorrow.
Welcome back to New Rock.
And I'll probably pick it up as soon as I get home from work, which will be at midnight. Oh, God, I hate it. I hate coming home at midnight. God damn it. God damn it. Anyway, people have asked me, people have asked me, in person, like, what film companies would you want to work on films for? And I've told them, I don't have a preference for working with a film company, There's some big ones like Disney, Marvel,
Hello, my beautiful.
obviously Disney, Marvel, same thing, basically. But I would love to work with, Marvel. I would love to work with Disney, Lucasfilm, 20th Century Studios. I would also love to work with other such companies, like someone like Warner Brothers, or DC or something like that, So, yeah, or even Sony Pictures. I would love to work on a Spider-Man property. I would love to work on a Spider-Man property. I might never get the chance to do that, though, unless I get really famous or whatever, or become a popular director. But I want to, for the most part, I want to work in films that I want to work on, Like, I have one idea for a film. I need actors for it. And I don't know how I'm going to convince anybody, hey, be part of my short film or whatever. And it would be a great film to work on. It's basically called Days of Our Lives, right? That's what I'm calling it, because I have nothing else to call it. Days of Our Lives, and it's literally a short montage of things going on in a couple of people's day, and it all culminates in an event towards the end where they all meet each other, and then something terrible happens, and then the mother of one of the main characters just ends up crying as she listens to a voicemail from her daughter before her death. And it would be incredibly interesting to work on something like that, as a thesis project for a film,
I can still remember
or a short film anyway. And I would love to work on it. I don't know anyone else who would want to work on it with me, and it's kind of, I don't know if anyone would work on it with me. So it's hard, man. It's hard being an aspiring filmmaker when no one else understands around me how to make films or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna be working on. I'm hopeful to get into a Master of Fine Arts program and meet other like-minded people who do want to work on films with me, and work on stuff that I think would be interesting. And I would help them work on the things that they find interesting. It's like a never-ending give and take situation. You take, you get these people to work on things with you, and then you give what you can help them work on and stuff. And it's a never-ending give and take situation. It's actually really cool. Yeah. We got a little bit of time here to talk about things I'm interested in the world of film. I really wish it was closer to 2024, because Daredevil Born Again is supposed to come out. It's if you've ever seen the Netflix show Daredevil, it's supposed to be a continuation of Daredevil, Okay, Daredevil. Everyone loves Daredevil. I loved Daredevil. That show was so good. But Daredevil Born Again, coming out. I can't wait for it, man. I can't wait for it. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting. One thing about the digital media program is if I wanted to, now, and the media studies program, if I wanted to, okay, which I'm not saying I do, if I wanted to, I could work in games. But honestly, working in games, usually people are game programmers, game developers. I mean, obviously you learn a little bit about games in media studies. You learn a little bit about games in digital media and whatnot. You know, you learn a little bit about games. But honestly speaking, man, I just wanna work on movies. You know, I just want to work on movies. Now, granted, if I were a successful animator, you know, I could see myself working at a game studio, doing animations and stuff. It's not what I would want to do, but it's something I could do. Anyway, guys, we got a little bit of time before the end of the podcast. Number one, I would like to thank you for participating in this episode of the podcast. You guys are obviously have been a big help because I've been wanting to talk about this stuff for a few days now, and you know, and some of you have been paying attention a lot to the podcast, and you know, some of you are like, ignoring it. I don't see any comments though. That's the one thing I don't get. Why there aren't more comments? You know, there should be some comments anyway. If you guys like this content, continue to subscribe. You know, continue to watch with bated breath what happens next. And if you guys have any other things you want to talk about, just put it in the comment section, man. Just put it in the comment section. If you want us to talk about Marvel all day, you know, or DC all day, I'm willing to do this. You know, I'm willing to talk about DC, Marvel, things you're interested in, because I happen to think we should talk about really cool things. You know, if you want us to talk about Star Wars all day, I will gladly talk about Star Wars all day. I will talk about the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, the new trilogy, all at the same time. I'll even talk about The Mandalorian a little bit, because actually I've only seen the first 2 or 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, but, you know, well, what can you do? What can you do, man? Anyway, thank you for participating in this episode of the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you.